want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. What is the best way to study the Ante-Nicene Church Fathers? Now, let me define what this question is proposing. Nicene is a reference to the Council of Nicaea in the early 300s. Now, what was that? Well, that really was the first and most major theological council or gathering that we, the church, have really had. So for about 250 years up to this point, the church had been struggling with the identity of Jesus Christ. Was he completely God, or did he become a God? Was he a second tier God? Was he really in the flesh, not in the flesh? That's why the book of 2 John verses 6 through 9, it says that Antichrist denies that Jesus came in the flesh. And really this big battle, if you want to use personalities, was between Arius, who was considered the heretic, and Athanasius, who was considered orthodox. It all culminates in the Council of Nicaea, where we, the collective church, declare that Jesus was, is, and always will be of the same substance and is, quote, God. Great time in our history. Ante-Nicene is, okay, prior to. And the question is, what is the best way to study the Ante-Nicene Fathers? Those theologians and pastors and thinkers from the time of the apostles up into the time of the early 4th century. Well, I think the best way is just to read them. In fact, they're called the early church fathers. And whether it be Polycarp or a host of these other guys, you can actually find their writings. They're out of the, the copyright domain. So obviously they're free on the internet. And you just go and read them. Now, let me share with you some interesting insights that you'll find by reading the Ante-Nicene Fathers. Do not expect, shall I say, a theological fidelity that you would even expect from your pastor today. Why? Because they had little, if any, access to what we know as the scriptures. Most of them had very little access to communication with one another. And they were just kind of working things out themselves within their local congregation. And so give them a little grace, kind of give them a cushion there to realize that occasionally they say some things that are somewhat of a struggle. The second thing I would say is, as a whole, when you read the Ante-Nicene Fathers, and I've read them, there seems to be somewhat of a, quote, works-based mentality that kind of raises its ugly head on occasions. Well, think about that for a moment. Those that were coming out of that Jewish background, that would have been very natural to them. And humanity as a whole struggles with the grace of God, the unmerited favor of God. But once you get past that Council of Nicaea, that tends to all kind of, quote, flush itself out. So again, they're readily available. They're online for free. Just go and read them. But let me remind you, as you read them, though they're thinkers and philosophers and pastors and theologians, never allow their words to be equal to or above the simple words of Scripture. All the Council of Nicaea did was agree with what the Bible had already told us. Great question. If you have one, send it to askjeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at askjeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.